welcome all to Walking the Weird. On this episode, we have a bit of let's say, Sean's has been a little bit more mundane. Mine is more on the magic side. So,
Magic.
have you ever heard that song? This is a little off topic. It's called "The Mundane and the Magic."
No.
Oh
Who's it
yeah,
by?
Dark Tranquility. I think it is. But yeah, no, I always like that name of that song. That's cool.
That's
Like,
funny because I've actually heard Dark Tranquility, but I haven't heard that song.
but yeah, no,
That's pretty dope.
But
I'll have to look into that.
anyway,
Sorry.
no. So today I kind of wanted to talk about. It's like a good intro to like ufology, secret governments, conspiracy theories, kind of in general. Is the Men in Black. So you kind of know the pop culture side.
Right. Men in Black wasn't something that I that they taught at my school. You know what I mean? Like we went over some. Like I've gone over some cases by myself and like occurrences, but with the internet, since I kind of looked at them a little late, it's kind of hard to see what's real and what's like real accounts, and then the accounts that people do for spoof. So more main culture, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of want to just start with. I have a couple cases. Um, One is supposedly kind of the start of the Men in Black phenomena.
Yeah.
So you've heard of Roswell?
Yeah. Of course.
I think that's the most famous one.
Yeah.
All right, so Roswell, okay, uh, a New Mexico rancher on July 4th, 1947, found some metamaterial supposedly on his ranch. Okay, so that date, July 4th, 1947. Have you heard of the Maury Island incident?
I have not heard of the Maury Islands.
June 27th, 1947.
That happened June 27th. Because there's no 47 days in the month.
So a couple days before Roswell. So Harold Dahl was on a conservation mission with like his son and his dog. They were actually on a boat in Puget Sound Washington's Maury Island, where he saw, as he put it, 6 donut-shaped craft hovering about a half a mile above his boat.
Oh, shit.
No, that's not even the crazy part.
Really? Because we're starting off already at the edge. We're already starting off there.
It's just one fell nearly 1,500 feet, followed by raining metallic debris, some of which hit his son in the arm. I think it hit the dog, and the dog died.
Holy
It rained
shit.
down on the boat, like just raining shrapnel.
It was just
down
like
on
metal
him,
debris.
just yeah,
Jesus.
from a
fucking
craft. It said that he took some pictures of the aircraft with his camera. He later showed a supervisor the pictures. And then that gets into the whole. It kind of got out that what happened.
Yeah,
He went to kind of the news and everything.
Yeah.
So the following day, he gets visited by a strange man in a black suit.
Was it one or two? Because I hear sometimes it reported.
It was
two.
one.
One. Okay.
Okay, so they said they went to the local diner and they're kind of talking, and the man was able to recount Dahl's story back to him.
Like perfectly.
Yes,
Wow.
at like he said, it says in this in extraordinary detail.
So like in a
So
type of
like he
eidetic
was
then-
there.
like an eidetic
Yeah.
memory type shit.
Yeah, like he literally told him. And apparently this is from, I guess this is from what Dahl said, is that he said what I have said is proof to you that I know a great deal more about the experience of yours than you will want to believe.
Holy shit, that's weird.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then he goes after this ordeal and kind of wants him to shut up about it and everything. But he does. It kind of gets out. He goes to I believe the local news, and one of the local newscasters or reporters, they contact in July of 47, the like A2 intelligence. It's kind of like the military intelligence at the time.
Yeah.
Just to come and like investigate. They do. 2 Army A2 intelligence officers come to investigate. They leave the next day on a B-25. The plane caught fire and crashed, and it killed both of them.
Oh my fucking god!
Like, so the other people actually investigating what was going on are dead.
Yeah, the people who were actually trying to investigate it.
Little conspicuous.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit. And this all happens days before Roswell.
Yeah. So exactly, and we get to the Roswell incident, which is pretty famous. I'm gonna kind of overview that because that's a whole different thing. We'll get into that. But apparently the children of the Roswell incident, the people that dealt with it, with the metamaterials, like the army going to their houses, like to talk to their parents and stuff, they said there was men in black there too.
At the site.
We'll like come and talk to them.
In the meetings. Meetings. Oh, okay.
So those are kind of the 2 instances I have. I know there's a ton more, and I kind of want to get onto that.
Mm-hmm.
John Keel, he's a prolific writer and kind of not just a ufologist, but like the phenomenon of ghosts, everything. Like he's kind of like the bigger picture guy, to where he goes in and he talks about the phenomena itself. Like he was really big with the Mothman, and all that. Like he said he's had experiences. I don't exactly know if J. Allen Hynek had experiences. J. Allen Hynek, of course, if you're unaware, he was very he's like the UFO dad. He was very influential. He worked on Project Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book. He originally was a skeptic. He would help debunk all these things, say, it's nothing. He's actually where the whole, it was swamp gas, it was a weather balloon thing. He's the one who said it.
He's the one who came up with it.
And then he becomes a believer.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This guy was also not the same guy, obviously, but he also took down the story of the movie based off the Mothman prophecies, right? That's
John Keel. Those are 2 different guys.
Oh, John Keel.
J. Allen Hynek he was actually an astronomer.
Oh, John Keel was the guy that you mentioned before.
Yeah, he's just the writer. I'm sorry.
He's the one that got a call from Injured Cold as well.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Bet. Awesome. Injured Cold is another one that we'll go over later.
We'll get into that. We'll
get to him later.
That's a whole thing. I just want to talk about Men in Black and their significance. Like,
yeah. Sorry, guys. I was trying to keep it straight in my head.
I mean, Dan Aykroyd, like he has an experience with Men in Black apparently. I know it happens apparently a lot, but I this is kind of where I'm going with it. Like these are almost pretty much early on more confirmed cases.
Yeah.
And before it kind of got out into like the zeitgeist, like it got out into the public. Like of course there's movies now, and Will Smith is in them, and what do you think about the Men in Black in general?
So the Men in Black, for me in general, I've heard a bunch of like different little cases. Like I said, I can't really differentiate because I'm not like balls deep in that shit. Like there's other stuff that I'm like in there, but not with this one. I can't say for the lack of. It's not that I don't believe. I've never personally had one. I have, ironically enough, had friends who have said that they've gotten visited by weird people from the government, but not to how I've heard like Men in Black be described. Like some of them have said that the way they describe them is almost not even human-like. They seem almost abnormally human, like they're trying to be human, but not really. They're not.
How. Yeah. I've heard those stories. I've heard that too. I don't know. Like it it makes sense. I mean, we didn't even go over the description of the Men in Black. That's my bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Guy comes in tailored suit, black tie, white shirt, sometimes fedora, sometimes not. Almost like out of the 50s. Like
Like a
the
50s
car,
old school detective
yeah,
type
like
shit.
like when you think of it, you've seen this aesthetic before because it's so popular now. But that's what they say these guys were, and there's reports of people thinking they're like, oh, they were the researchers from like the local college, or oh, it was just a government agent, just make sure I was okay. And then you start hearing the story like, why are they so worried about you not saying anything?
Right,
Because you're
right,
like,
right, right.
oh, this is what this is.
And then
Like,
some of the cases that I've heard at least are more menacing than others. Where some of them are very calm and hey, just don't really say anything. All right, cool. Hey, oh, awesome, great detail. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. To the other ones where they're like, we'll kill, like not we'll kill you, but they're like doing shit with you and making you feel uncomfortable, making you nervous,
yeah,
like
you
purposely.
you like your job, right? You
Yeah.
got a nice family. It would be a shame.
Yeah,
Like,
so
yeah,
stuff
just
like that, but not even so much verbally. It's just like
you
they go weird
know,
and they just
yeah,
start like staring at you, or they start like, you know what I mean? Like it becomes threatening.
and and how often, if you had to just give your guess kind of off the cuff, like how often do you think they visit
Who?
experiencers? And I'm talking actual people who have had actual experiences.
Um,
Like, do you think it's every time? Do you think it's
I think it's got to be at least every time. I just don't think that they're as active. I think that if something happens, they're dispatched and like, hey, go check it out real quick, and they're sitting there like, okay, no one really gives a shit. All right, no one really is paying attention. All right, we're good, clear. And then there's other ones where you're like, we saw like 8 people who just took pictures, 18 people who just did this, and because some people have described them as like that with eidetic memories and stuff, they know who they are already. Like they're spot on, and then they're involved in it. But I think some of the cases they're like probably more in the background, just kind of observing, seeing where it is. Because if you go in with the red flag every moment, like eventually someone's gonna be like, "Who are those guys?"
yeah? And I'll say this: I've one part I accidentally left out is it seems like it's always the same guy. Like they're always just like kind of nondescript people you really wouldn't remember, but
They're
it's
bland,
yeah,
like or like
yes.
bland, like plain people.
Like like if you think of, oh, government agent, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Like you like, oh, you're like a stereotype. Okay.
Yeah.
I did want to kind of um talk about like what you just said. We're like, oh, maybe every time. I think they go when you get close to something that's like maybe the military built, or like, you know that's when they go, or it's like, oh, you know this, we know it was not us, and you really weren't supposed to see that.
Yeah.
Like something happened. It's not just, oh, they're in the sky. It's like I said, like, debris is raining down on your ship. Like, oh, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah, you need to shut up.
Yeah. You
Like,
need to not mention this incident again.
yeah.
For a while.
And I that kind of gets into like shadow government, who runs, who's running the military. Is it the president? Is it Congress? Is it us?
And some people have even said like with the with the whole problematic thing of the Men in Black, it's like how come not all people who were involved in UFOs have been visited? Like you have accounts of like people who are like Bob Lazar who have never been visited by Men in Black. You know what I mean? It's like if anybody should have gotten visited,
He should be gone.
should have
Yeah.
been him. Like he should have been the first one in line. Like you know what I mean? Like Tom DeLonge recently. Don't make fun of the way I say his name. I pronounce his name correctly. Tom DeLonge or whatever from Blink-182. He's actually the reason why a lot of these military people came out and started talking about the Tic Tacs, the radar stuff. Like that's him. So if they were a thing, why don't they visit those guys? Or maybe they're too close. Or maybe they're too mainstream. You know what I mean? Like there's exceptions. So like there's kind of contradicting factors to the Men in Black.
Or they're so far off. They're like, we
Or
don't
they're
have to
so
do
far
anything.
off.
We don't have to do anything. They think it's aliens.
But do you think they'd be? Do you think they'd be that far off?
I don't. But that's actually a great point because
Yeah.
it calls into questions like, wait, so all these other people just saw stuff and they got
Visited.
talked to, but you didn't.
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Because and it goes back to my whole thing. Like maybe they're too close or too popular that they're like, hey, if we go and do something now, it's gonna raise more suspicion. Like it's gonna raise more suspicion that something else happened. Like imagine Bob Lazar just drops casually a 4K FaceTime of an alien, like an actual legit alien, and then all of a sudden Bob Lazar goes missing and then dies. It's like, bruh, Epstein?
Or
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's two on the head. Maybe that's why, or like you said, maybe they're not even remotely within the realm, and they're like, oh, these guys are idiots.
oh look at him go.
Mhm.
Yeah, like that's I. This is one of those things with the Men in Black stuff. Do I think it happened? Yes. Do I think it happens anymore? I don't know. I don't know why they would. It's so you like UFOs and ufology has become so ubiquitous in just popular culture. If I walked out of here and saw a UFO, no one no one except maybe you and our producer, she might believe me, but nobody else will.
Yeah,
They're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, of course, you saw it.
yeah.
Of course, you,
Of course, you saw it,
because I love this stuff."
and I'm sure, like, not to be that type of guy, but the people who witness these things usually are people who like really love this shit. So it's easier to point out and be like, oh, they're just crazy. They're just bad shit. Don't listen to them. Like, I agree with you. I don't think it happens as often. And if it does happen as often with the Men in Black, it is now strictly not to cover up. It's probably to protect. Because now, since it's all out there, it's probably like, now we're just taking care of the moments where shit really could go down. And now we have to diffuse it. And maybe that's just my fantastical Disneyland point of view, but
No, I think that's a lot of it, and I think maybe they go out now and listen to your story, and they're like, "Oh, he only has like half the story. We're good.
yeah, we're good. We're good. Don't worry about it.
He didn't see where we did all this other shit. We're fine."
I
That's
swear
the
to
real
God, though.
stuff.
I swear to God, though, if we're recording and we hear a knock right now, bro,
we're
I'm
going
leaving.
two different
Dude,
ways.
I'm dipping. I'm dipping right now.
Yeah,
If we just-
we're gone.
If we see a dude with a fedora and he's like, "Hey, excuse me, I'm running. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
stop. I'm just gonna keep running." But no, we're not that deep. I promise.
Oh, like that's one of those things where it's I believe in it. I just don't like it. It makes too much sense that would happen. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't the government send someone out to talk to you?
Yeah, that makes more
That's
sense.
really mundane. That's really believable. Of course they would,
Yeah.
because they want to know, because they have to know fucking everything.
And even if they're not like extraterrestrials or whatever, these people have to be trained to have eidetic memories, to have the recall ability to just at any moment drop facts that you said. They have to be able to. That's their job. You know what I mean? Like type shit.
Or they wouldn't even have to have like eidetic memories, like you're saying. What if they were on the craft? Of course they know what you did. They were there.
Yeah.
They were up there and saw you. That's how they know it's you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they have craft like that, I'm sure they could be like, all right, hey, put a ping on him. We'll
circle
see
back to
where,
him in a minute.
Yeah, we'll see where he goes. Just leave him there. I'll go talk to him.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Like there's and the thing is that from what I've heard from the very few ignorant cases that I have heard, it's not always in a private place.
No.
Sometimes they'll
This
come
wasn't
into-
a diner.
Yeah, in a diner.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes where they'll go to like banks and shit like that, and you're like, what the fuck? It's because now in the society, no one's really gonna judge you because of all like the shit that's going on. Like not the shit, but like because people could have different things. Like they could have a disease. They could be burnt. You know what I mean? No one's gonna be like, is your skin normal? Like they're gonna walk by.
Damn, that's a whole different ism.
Dude, like seriously though, no one's gonna be like, why does your skin look fake? Like, no, they're gonna be like, hey, don't stare, just move straight ahead.
Yeah. No, that's actually a great point. 'Cause
Yeah.
It like I just want to know. I want to like who are they answering to? Who like if they're writing reports, where is it going?
who's receiving the reports, and is it us? And if it is us, why? And if it's not us, are they friendly?
Simpler than that. Simpler than all of that. Who paid for their suits? Who paid for anything them to get to where they were? It's like
Maybe it's just like, and again, I'm gonna bring him back in. Maybe it's just like the whole injured cold thing. They're pretending, and these are clothes from back in the day, and they're just like they don't know how, so they're like, I mean, I guess this. I've seen them wear black pants. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
yes, and
they're all huddled up in an alien meeting, like hat maybe cap. No. They don't like that. This one, bet. Go ahead. I have no clue.
Speaking of meeting, we should probably get on to supposed Majestic 12 document. This was a memo. I believe it was sent to two different FBI offices, to like Eisenhower. God, I think it was President Eisenhower. It was later found to be fake. That's what they say. If I'm gonna have this in the notes, so I'll have it in the notes. You guys can look. You guys can see it. You guys can look it up. They wrote bogus on the actual letter, so when it scans, it has bogus written on every single page.
Bogus.
And it references Majestic. It says Majestic with a capital M dash 12. The Majestic 12. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's like
there's only been one reference to these guys.
yeah.
And now they're popular culture. Like X-Files, that's who they were. They're the Illuminati, but it's the Majestic 12. That's what they're
it's supposed
saying.
to be like the Majestic
That's where
12,
this kind of comes from. In video games and stuff, when they're trying to cover up the alien threat. Well, the guys around the table,
Yeah.
and they're all, that's the Majestic 12, apparently. That's
Yeah.
the Illuminati. That's the world government. That's what it's talking about.
And then these guys are hired by them, right? Or they are them.
We don't know.
We don't know that.
And
See, because I could.
I
see
don't believe the memo, though. I'm sorry.
No, of course.
I don't think
if
it's
you have
real.
to write that something is bogus, it's probably not bogus. You know what I mean?
That's
Like-
what makes me believe it. The fact that they wrote bogus on every page. I'm
Because
like,
if you really think that something's bogus, they're gonna be like, no. Did we write something on it? Why? No one's gonna believe this. Like, take it out of there. It's fake.
they literally wrote in like Sharpie over the memo
Bogus.
on all the pages. I was like, but that gets into a whole nother thing we have to get into, because like the old files and stuff, they were just like write on them, and it's a whole thing.
I mean, you can't really type on them in 1947.
Well, it wasn't in 19. It was in
I
like
was
the
kidding, I was
80s
kidding.
or
Oh,
like
that's
the
bad.
70s or something. But
See, because I can
I-
believe, I can believe like certain pop culture references of the Men in Black, like the actual movie Men in Black with Will Smith and Tommy Lee. Like, yeah, it's fantastical. It's supposed to be funny and everything like that.
but you could see where like
But I could see
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, a group of
America
people-
especially would have this dumb thing.
Yeah,
like we would
a group
do
of
that.
people who
Yeah.
try to interfere with alien affairs or whatever, and try to like maybe even protect the
Yeah.
world. Like I could kind of see where that would go. I think it's a lot grimmer than the movie makes it out to be.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a
It's not a happy
happy-go-lucky
job.
time. Yeah,
You know, you're not
And
just doing that shit. Like,
and just this is off topic, but they kind of reference that in the second one, because Tommy Lee Jones asked where the mortician is from the first one, and the Will Smith character, he's like, oh, she couldn't handle it.
yeah, she couldn't handle the job.
That like she's gone. When actual, they didn't bring her back, but I'm like, okay, that's like a good nod to like the darker part.
Of
but-
the actual job.
Yeah, because they make it sound fun. I'm like, yeah, everyone forgets where like people are being eaten and like agents die and all that.
and all that stuff. Yeah, which I'm sure happens if they exist in that way. Quite a lot.
What do you think? So, are you a fan of the whole shadow government thing or no?
I am. I definitely think that there's got to be something in the background. Maybe I think in the podcast that we did before, what is it? The beginning of the road. I think we actually referenced that, and I think I said the same thing. If I didn't, I apologize. I actually do believe in it. Like I actually,
I
I'm
want
with
to.
that.
I ask because I want to expand on that. It almost makes sense that there is,
yeah,
because
Like a fail-safe.
like in America, with everything, like it makes it's a good thing. Like, oh, everyone has to be changed out. Well, you have to have a continuation of government. Like you do. Like oh, we have plans and we have people set up. Oh, what's the show called or the movie called? Remember, like where like the Congress and like the president they die, and this guy is like the last one on that list, and he ends up having to be president. Do you know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, I remember. I
And
remember,
but
I can't
it's
remember
like
the
it's
name.
like the continuation or like
Yeah.
the last man or something, and that's cool and all, but I just learned this last night. I think it was a day before 9/11/2001. Congress was having a meeting, and I can't remember what guy it was or who was doing it. I'm so sorry. He was talking about how we're missing in our budget, like there's like a deficit of like $10 trillion.
You're wrong. It's $13.27 trillion.
That's missing. That's not even. Yeah.
That
thank
wasn't
you.
accounted for. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you know who also
You-
brought that up?
who?
Snowden.
Okay.
Snowden brought
okay.
that up because he
All
saw
right.
the memos, and
Dude,
then
now we're definitely getting a knock
dude,
on the
no,
door.
dude, I swear to God, I
No,
swear to God.
now we're-
Snowden came on a podcast, and he literally said, "That's what I brought up. That's part of the reason why I
Yes.
brought it up."
Where
and then,
did it-
ironically enough, on September 11th, 2001, there was
December
nothing in
10th.
the government buildings except for skeleton crews. No officials were there. No directors were there. And this is a job where they're always there.
Okay.
And they weren't there September
That's
11th.
a whole
Anyway.
different thing. Damn, that's a whole episode.
Bro,
We'll go on a whole episode.
Bro, Snowden
I just
goes
want to talk. I just want to talk about just the budget, like the black budgets, and then
Sorry,
you have
I
like
got
deep.
carried away.
Then you have like deep black budgets. It's like okay, yeah, you have the black budget that does like the spy aircraft. Of course, there's gonna be stuff they don't tell us, but they've come out with like the budget for like what's the it's not the B-52. It's the stealth one. Like the stealth bomber.
I think
it
it is a
the
B-52.
They've come out. They kind of give you a round of like the budget. It's only like a couple $1 billion. Where the fuck is the rest of this money?
Yeah.
So it's either everything we mismanage our money horribly, which that's actually a good explanation, or where the fuck is the rest of it?
Do you
Because
really
that's a
wanna-
lot.
Do you really want to get a knock at the door right now? Do you really want to get a knock at
Let's
the
do
door
it.
right now?
Let's go.
Okay,
We're
so-
there. Like, we're at that point.
So once upon a time, when I lived in California, I actually lived right next to
I'd be
Lockheed
careful
Martin
what
and
you're
Boeing.
saying.
I lived
just
next to.
just be as vague as you can.
No, I'm gonna give you street names.
No, that's stupid. That's stupid.
So I lived right next to, well, not right next to, but a ways away from Lockheed Martin
And
and
then I
Skunk Works.
needed a new co-host
And Skunk
because
Works, right?
he is gone.
There's a place down like it's like Grand here. But
Yeah.
But it was not Grand, obviously. But it's going through this part of Lancaster and Palmdale. And on that road, there's a stretch of nothing but stealth bombers and Jeeps. Like, dude, it's like 8 miles of this shit. I was like, you know what's sad? That's still only a few billion. It's still
but
so
you
many
really
missing.
think that like
No,
there-
it can't
like,
equate it. It can't equate it.
It's too much money.
Yeah, you
that,
can't
to
equate
where
that.
it's just sitting like. That's what they always say. Like, oh, we're always going. Oh, they always go over budget on the military stuff. A screw is $50. Well,
Yeah.
that's why it's going to all this other stuff. What stuff?
It doesn't equate to it. It doesn't equate
What
to it.
stuff?
Like
And-
people try to like over exaggerate and go, oh, like the whole thing, like the screw costs like $50, a pen costs like $2 million. It's like that's great, but even if you tally all that shit
It's
up,
still
those missing
it's still
13.27
nothing.
trillion,
It's still
not even there.
yes, and I understand that gets into the military industrial complex. I think there's something behind it. To take a Matrix term, the world behind the world.
Yeah,
It's literally like, oh yeah, no, you go fight wars for oil or whatever. Yeah, make some money. Yeah, we'll blame you guys. We're over here on energy weapons, all this other stuff. It's like, look, yeah, we don't even need your resources.
Yeah.
Like we're not even expending oil to make this stuff anymore. We
'Cause-
have our own energy.
because think about
We
it.
have our
You don't
own.
you don't think like a lot of people affiliate the government with gangs and like mafias and shit like that, right? They're like, oh, whatever, right? So if we take that route, that thing that they're projecting in their head, that they go, oh, this is how they operate. They have meetings, all of them. Even if they're opposing, even if they're like on turf,
They have
on
lunch with
turf
each
wars.
other.
Yeah, they'll go up to each other and be like, shot in hand, fucking meal in hand. Hey, this is our turf, and that's yours. You stay over here. If you need help, we'll figure something out. I might have a few agents in my area that might be able to assist, but we don't know. You don't think that the government officials do that? They used to do it.
course
It's
they
a
do
record that they used to do that.
Yeah.
You don't think they still do it now? Hey, we're going to attack this place. Remember, it's not that important. We're going to kill a few casualties, get a few
I
buckets
have
of oil.
the
We'll
I
move
have
on.
the perfect word for what you're describing.
What?
Uniparty. It's all one banner. It's you just think it's not, and it like
It's all under the money.
I. But I would say even that it's like they don't even care about that. Like, oh yeah, no, let the presidents do whatever they're doing. Let the elections happen. It doesn't matter. We're so far on our own thing, willing to kill innocent people, willing to
Yeah.
do whatever they have to. Like when we talk about the even the wars happening right now, I'm like, you're worried about it. They're not.
Bro,
They don't care.
Bro, that whole place is a wreck, in some offense, including like the parts of Saudi Arabia that get affected by it. Bro, they have UFC fights. Bro, they drive Lamborghinis. Do you
Yeah.
think they give a shit about the war?
No. No.
If the world wasn't where they weren't meeting behind closed doors,
And-
how did they keep the money that far? Anybody would have.
I don't even think they. I think they have their. I think it's like layers of secret government.
I think
where
they were paid that much just to be quiet. They were like, "Hey,
I
you're
think
good, right?"
I think
Yeah.
it's like we have the governments of the world, and they're doing backroom deals and stuff, and then you have an entire layer of like, guys, yeah, you're playing politics. That's cute.
Yeah.
We own
All
of you.
Yeah.
Like, go have your politics, but they don't. But I think it's so compartmentalized. I think it's so just deep state,
Yeah.
I guess, that none of them know until some guy just shows up in their office and is like, "Hey, I know what you did on the 3rd."
Because here's
but
here's-
here's what you're not gonna talk about anymore.
like also
And
like
then all of a sudden, but they don't know who that guy is.
Right.
They don't know where he came from. They think it's, oh my God, it's the other party. It's not.
like here's the things that like I just from watching politics on the news and even interacting.
I'm sorry.
like even with watching politics on the news and even watching them like certain local politics in person, or even if you're at an event or whatever, the shit that they get away with is very weird. It's very unusual. Like there's a lot of powerful people that get away with certain shit. Like there was one, and this was stupid at first, and I kind of try to look for the legitimacy in it, but there's a Rothschild who's pointing at Prince Charles. Bro, he's royalty.
Oh, like, hey,
Like you better get the
Yeah.
fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
Like you better keep your shit in line. And he's
Yeah,
pointing at him.
I
like he's
own
talking,
you.
Like he's talking to an employee.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have money, but he's royalty, bro. You're on his country. He could kill you. So what is he involved in that he's afraid of you?
and I think even the Rothschilds, all that stuff,
Is a layer,
even
is a
that,
small
it's
layer.
like, dude, that's a chunk. They think they know everything. I think that's what I'm saying when it's compartmentalized. They think I'm the real secret government, and then there's some guy in some office somewhere you've never fucking heard of that's like, kill him.
Yeah. It's
I don't need him.
and I hate to put it this way, it's the same thing with cartels. You never meet the top dog. You just meet all the bottom ones that think that they're the massive ones, and it's like there's a guy over there's like, yeah, bro, just all these guys.
I don't even
yeah,
know
take 'em
who
out.
those guys are.
Yeah, you've never heard of them. You've
Yeah.
never heard of them. Even the people that we had talking to like the CIA, they don't even know who they've never met them. They
That's
never
what
met
I'm
them.
saying. The agent, like, that's a whole different, like, the agencies and stuff, how they're fucking with everyone. I think the heads of those agencies, and this is just from what I've heard, what I've seen, like, not, but just reading and research. Everyone's like, oh, it's every CIA like head or FBI head, like, oh, they know, they get read in, they know. I'm like,
No,
no,
no.
they find the dude who's like, hey, you don't have morals, right?
They get read in. They get read in. Hey, this is what we're doing this week and everything like that. And then as soon as they walk out and they're like, "Hey, Lucy, can you send in the real guys come in? Thank you
Yeah.
so much."
Yeah.
And the real guys take the table. All right, what he said is bullshit. That's what we're gonna feed. This is what we're gonna do. Like, there's too much, I guess, evidence for that.
It's
There's-
literally the X-Files where they have
Yeah.
the smoking man, and he's telling like, all right, have this guy win the Super Bowl. Like
real,
that'll
real quick. I love the reference that American Dad has to the smoking guy, where they're he's twirling a peanut and all of a sudden he just crushes it.
Yeah.
because the guy crushed the cigarette because he got angry. That's like the best thing, but it has to be. You know what I mean? And
It's
and and we're not going on a tangent. We're kind of giving you a little bit more backstory because there are these things and these hard beliefs that people see. Like for me, when I hear these cases about auditors or like people who, like one of the ABCs that go around killing the other troops, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, internal struggle or whatever. I don't think that's them. I think that's actually like the Men in Black that probably go in and go, all right, wipe these guys out, let's go,
yeah,
and move
Hey,
out.
I actually saw this thing this morning. I was watching a little bit on it. This is way out there that the U.S. government went to war with Iraq because Iraq had a Stargate. But okay, if you take that premise, that makes sense. Why wouldn't they? Like, oh, because you go in with like Saddam and all that stuff. Like, hey, he was a CIA op, everything, and he kind of broke his bonds. It's like, yeah,
He wasn't a CIA op. He was a CIA friendly. He was a leader of the
was
yeah.
that's
he
the
was,
operative word.
He was the leader of one of the
But,
like
yeah,
Iran
but,
shit that went
yeah,
there, like counters and shit.
with that.
We kind of
Okay,
went off.
we'll go. We'll skip around the Stargate thing. Just in general, if you're like that high, like, oh, we have to remind
Everybody.
that you can't mess with us. Yeah, they have WMDs. Tell the president that they have WMDs. Make what you need to make for that moron to go attack them. Yeah, Congress just
Pass
you
it
don't,
through.
yeah, you don't think Congress will do it? Okay, yeah, show them what they did with the kids at Epstein Island, and all of a sudden
And everyone's
we're going
agreeable.
to war with
Yeah.
Iraq. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
and everyone's agreeable all of a
Yeah.
sudden. Like I really do believe that's what happens. It's hard not
perfect example is what I just said with Epstein
to.
Island.
With Epstein. Yeah.
Nothing
Perfect
fucking
example.
happened.
Nothing.
Nothing happened.
And they released the list, and everyone's like, "What's gonna happen?" Nothing. Nothing at all.
So
But-
so I guess this episode isn't going to be on YouTube.
It's gonna be demonetized
Yeah.
immediately,
Well, I
especially
guess
with
we'll see it on-
elections.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. This I guess this is just be on Spotify because there ain't no way in hell this is.
We got flagged 3 days ago for a fucking trailer. This one's gonna get removed.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
get a knock. We're gonna get at the storage unit. That's fucking great. With the Men in Black though, do you think that every case is legitimate, or do you think that there's some
No.
people trying
No,
to?
I think
like,
it's
catch
gotten
shit?
too far into the zeitgeist. I think it's gotten too far into the public to where people who want to see things, who want to have the phenomenon happen to them, that's just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, because it's easy.
They came. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it's easy to do that. Like, okay, I understand that there's people that are like, oh, these people are following me. These people are following me. There's some legitimacy to where the government
yes.
actually.
Oh.
Yeah, of course, duh. But I think that, let's say, for the people who want something to happen or who have witnessed it, maybe they do put agents around, like local agents, and then because and let's be real, most of the guys that are like local agents or whatever, they are either bald, they either have a very high fade or whatever, they look generic for that reason.
They
So-
all have Oakleys.
They all have Oakleys. They all wear Oakleys or Ray-Bans.
And the cut off the pants with the pockets,
Yeah.
the cargo pants. Yeah, yeah, yep. Or
No.
like the cargo shorts, and then like have you seen those the glowy conventions?
Yeah.
Where they're like, all right, we want things to happen, and you look and they take pictures, and they all are dressed the same.
same.
It's like you're clearly federal agents, guys.
Yeah.
It's
Even the people at like Disneyland when they're walking, it's like this really massive buff dude, and he has a fanny pack. He's like, that's not a tourist. He's not a tourist.
your security. Like
You're not a
dude,
tourist, my guy. You weigh 350 pounds for what? But no, like
you're 350 pounds of Brock Lesnar. You're not a security.
You're not security, my guy.
No, you are security.
You're from
not
fucking
a guy.
Bellator.
Yes.
no, like, but like I think people are quick to jump to those conclusions. Like they maybe see a guy in an unmarked vehicle, bald, hair, like glasses on, and then they go, "Oh my God, it's the Men in Black. They're following me." It's like maybe it's not Men in Black. Maybe it's just your local sheriff's department. Maybe it's just your local Leos. Maybe it even is an FBI agent because you witnessed something that was pretty big. They want to see if you're involved because you were there. Because that's like general what like cops do. Like be like, okay, who was all there? Get all their names. Let's interview them all. Like that's
See
basic.
if they're acting weird because maybe they did something.
They were involved in it.
Yeah.
So like that's basic 101. So they're gonna tail you for a few days when they find out. Oh, this dude just goes to this store every day. Okay, cool, bet, awesome. Move on. And I think people are very eager to be like, Men in Black. Oh my God,
I'm special.
Yeah, and it's like you're not special. They're doing protocols. You know what I mean? That's their normal shit.
I will, and this is just for me. The people I believe that have the stories I believe are the people that didn't want it.
Yeah.
Because I've never had an experience, but if I did, be skeptical of my experience because I would want it. I would want it too much.
Yeah.
Like you should be asking me extra questions. You should.
Like there's people that get a story like or it's known that they've witnessed it and then you go talk to them and they're like no comment, bro. I'm good. Those people I believe I'm like they're out of their way
Something
trying
happened.
to ignore them. Yeah.
Yeah. Something happened that they don't like.
Yeah. Or even if they do, they in their head they're like no one's going to believe this even if I tell them, so I don't even have to. Bye.
Yeah. I can't lose my job. I can't lose my job. Like I can't do this.
Yeah.
Why?
Those people break down when they're drunk. Those people break down hard, man.
And it's they're like, oh well, why wouldn't you come out? Don't you care about truth? It's like truth is great, but when they're without threatening you about your family, about your life, the life you probably worked very hard
To get.
you might be a little quiet.
Yeah.
And what if you don't actually know what you saw? So you're going to destroy your entire life, be ridiculed, have all that heat put on you, but you for what? You saw a flashing light? So you don't even know if it was that thing. Of course you're not going to say anything. It's not enough. And to the people that do, thank you. Thank you to lending legitimacy to something that I genuinely believe is real. Thank you.
Yeah.
But to the people that don't, I understand.
I get you.
Like
We totally get you. Like had I believe honestly, like with people like Bob Lazar and shit like that, like that was concrete evidence of them trying to erase Bob Lazar. I was like, there's no way you can fake that. Like maybe he's not as involved as we think, or maybe he exaggerated some of his stories. And I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying maybe if we want to put it that way. But when he went to the court for doing the fucking sex, what is it? Was it pimping that they got him on?
Something like
Some ridiculous ass shit for pimping, and then there was no record of him in school, no record of anything, and then these people were coming out going, "Yeah, I graduated with him. Yeah, he worked there. We used to get coffee every morning." Like all of a sudden they're like, "Oh shit!" Like this happens. Like you know what I mean? Like this has happened. I think it's something like you said that you find legitimacy in. I find legitimacy in that, in the shadow government, in the maybe not aliens, but at least in the secret government, the Men in Black.
'Cause why wouldn't they?
Why would they? Why would you?
No, I'm saying why wouldn't they make that organization?
Oh,
Why
I
not?
thought you meant like why would they like not try to stop that shit? Like yeah,
Oh, yeah, no,
would.
of course
Like,
they
would.
Dude, they try and stop everything.
Yeah, they would. That makes
About
sense.
everything.
Yeah.
If they could make you do everything they want and buy the products they want constantly, which they probably do, they would.
They would. So, and it gets to those points where you're just like, yeah, some of these are maybe a little bit of woo, but the other ones might not be. And those are the ones that we really need to notice, especially in not in this time, but in this time because a lot of shit just came out from the CIA, declassified documents that they keep releasing. You know, other shit with all that. The fact that JFK's dossier wasn't released fully, which we'll get into another episode, but
I wanted to stop you there for a second. Yeah, they're releasing. No, they are forced to release this.
oh yeah, they were
information.
forced to release
They
it.
destroyed a bunch of documents back in the day, so we don't even have
All of
everything
it,
because
yeah.
there's no way to have everything. But anyway, yes, go on.
The fact that the fact that the government found it so necessary to have a paranormal investigative branch in the 70s, that is crazy. So the fact that they had to have that means that there's a even if it's the 0.01% that there's a possibility of that happening out there, there has to be.
Even
There
the
has
f-
to be.
even the famous ones.
Yeah.
Project Sign, Project Grudge.
Mhm.
Eventually, it all led into Project Blue Book.
Blue Book,
And then
yeah.
I think there's apparently was what they're finding out that there was possibly a entire other operation, like project, going on besides Blue Book, to where they were actually getting the real shit.
Yeah.
Like they like so there's there so what you see, that's what they let you see.
Yeah.
Just remember that. Anytime you're like, oh, so here's the evidence. Like, that's the evidence they let you see.
Yeah, like MK Ultra, it's one of the MKs. There's like a list of 30 MKs, and the other ones are research into other drugs, not just LSD.
And by the way, some of the MK Ultra stuff was destroyed, so we don't actually know if it stopped.
Yeah, we don't know if it's still continuing or not.
Just a fun.
Again, I like to throw this in every other episode, but also the head of the MK Ultra, was also the guy that interviewed Jack Ruby before declaring him insane. I just thought I'd let you out. with
It's
that.
it's like Happy Hogan or whatever. No, that's comics. Sorry,
Happy Hogan.
sorry,
Happy Hogan.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Dude.
I'll get you the name of him later.
Okay.
I'm sure it's an H, but it's not Hogan. That is common.
Brother.
Bro. Listen, brother, he's crazy.
That would make the
Sorry.
government way better.
That would.
Just have Hulk Hogan just do all the announcements.
That's all the Men in Black are. They're just people based off of Hulk Hogan.
Oh my god, that would be a presidential debate for like Hulk Hogan, like during like his Hulkamania years versus like some politician guy who's like, that dude's full of shit, brother. Like
That dude's full of shit, and I can prove it.
Yeah.
Listen, brother.
I'm gonna take him to the mat, and we will see. Sorry.
Fucking ripping off his suit midway through the debate.
Yes, I'm down for that 100%.
That's funny
But
shit.
I think that's a good wrap up point. What do you think, Sean?
I'm good with that. Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been our episode of Walking the Weird. Time to get more back on to our regular path. I like the detours. I think it like it help kind of blows the stacks. It gets everything out.
Yeah.
It's like because yours is like, oh man, this is really sad and depressing. Mine is like, what the fuck is happening?
What's happening here? And then
So-
we had Hulk Hogan somehow.
Yeah. So
Keep it fresh.
yeah. As always, we'll see you on the road.